Well, I want to go back to a happier time right now when I could get barbecue sandwiches at the ballpark and
Oh,
stories
don't do that to
of
me.
baseball. Real excited to bring on Phillies great Greg Luzinski. Greg, how you doing today, man?
Very good. Just
Thank you
sitting at
so
home
much.
like everybody else.
Well, it's
Pardon?
opening day, so at least we can be excited about that, right?
Yeah, it starts at what, 2 o'clock? And last game I think is from the East Coast. It starts around 1 our time, so we can see a lot of baseball today.
So, Greg, before we talk about opening day, when we have a baseball player on, we always like to ask, the first question is, tell us about your first experience in the minors. For you, from what we can tell, yours started in Huron, South Dakota.
Well, obviously, that was way back in 1968. Yeah, I had a unique experience. I think about when I first got there and reported to the ballpark. Our manager at that particular time was Dallas Green, who I ended up playing for later in my career. But he was a little bit different. He was, 6'something as far as height goes. He was a big man, and he had that real deep voice. And so from day one, I can remember working out and running in the outfield and doing whatever calisthenics because we had a short spring training there in Huron before the season started. So that was totally unique, but it was a lot of fun. I think it was first time away from home, obviously, for me in an extended period of time like that. So that's a little bit of difference. But we were able to, I had some good roommates with me. Mickey Bowers was from Quantico. We had been on some football recruiting trips together to different schools, so we knew each other pretty good and still are good friends. So it was a lot of fun. Obviously, it was kind of unique, the fact that, I played for Dallas there and then also played for him in the big leagues.
What's it like to be on bus rides with Dallas Green?
Well, we had a few long ones. You learn one thing in the minor leagues. You learn how to sleep fast. That type of thing. But he was fine about things like that. He knew he had he disciplined, had some discipline, and he had young players. So he wanted to get us on the right track. He wanted to teach us the fundamentals, basically of playing baseball and how the Phillies operated. So, I didn't have any problem with Dallas whatsoever. I enjoyed playing for him. He'd get excited, obviously. He must have gone through a dozen hats, obviously, in a short period of time. But that hat was probably on the ground more than it was on his head. He wasn't real good with umpires.
You were a first-round pick for the Phillies in 1968, and it did not take you long. You made your Major League debut September 9th, 1970. You were 19 years old, pinch hitting against the Mets. What was that experience like? I know it was always your goal to do it early, but did you really expect that?
Well, yeah, I kind of expected to move pretty quick to the minor league system. Obviously, I knew what was ahead of me, and if I could produce it all, I'd have a chance to make it a ball club. But yeah, I remember facing Ray Sadecki, a left-hander, for the New York Mets, and it was a game. I think he struck out like 14 or 15 guys. And I might have been number 14, I think, or 13, somewhere along that line. But I remember him throwing me sliders at my back foot down and in, and swung over the top of them. But yeah, it was my first at bat. Quite nervous. I was obviously 19 years old, so I moved relatively quick through the system, and I obviously it was a good organization for me to sign with and be drafted by.
That experience, the first time that you come up to the plate in the majors, and then every year successive when you're going through opening day, what is the feeling that you get with those kind of experiences, and what is what you remember most about them?
Well, obviously the emotion is to get it started. Obviously when the season ends, it's really funny. You're kind of looking forward to charging up the body again for a new season, but all of a sudden, you take a week or two off and you're ready to go again. And spring training can be long. Obviously, it's to get pitchers ready. Yeah, hitters usually get ready a whole lot faster than pitchers. But then it comes opening day, something that you're anxious for. Obviously, it's probably the one day out of the year unless you make the playoffs and are playing the World Series, that you're at the clubhouse very early. There's obviously some tension in there until you take the field and do something you love.
We like to talk to people a lot. Obviously, you had so much success on different Phillies teams, rode the roller coaster from the start to getting to the World Series. But at the same time, you received the Roberto Clemente Award in 1978 for your involvement in the community and your sportsmanship. And we like to talk on the show about the platform that athletes have and their ability to really get involved in the community. Can you talk about what that meant to you?
Well, it meant a lot. Obviously, the Kurt Flood contract was and free agency had just come about, and I know when I negotiated my contract with the Phillies, part of my negotiation with myself and my agent and the Phillies was the fact that we wanted to do something a little bit different with the ballpark and with the fans of Philadelphia. And we came up with the idea of buying tickets and putting 100 and some kids in left field and call it the Bull Ring. So I know in Philadelphia it was probably for baseball was one of the first times that I think a player got really involved with the city and the youth organizations of the city. So obviously it was a great feeling to see him up there. There was a sign up there, and they yelled down at me because it was in left field, and it was a lot of fun. And now I have the barbecue, obviously, in left field, and it's surprising that the number of people that come by there and say that the first game they ever attended was through tickets from the Bull Ring. So, it's pretty gratifying. And then, obviously, to be the eighth one in the history of the Roberto Clemente Award was a great feeling.
Greg, every opening day for the last close to 15 years, it's been for me and my son going to the ballpark, going through the gate, and going and getting the turkey sandwich at Bull's Barbecue. What is it like for you to know that your name and that barbecue have become synonymous with Citizens Bank Park in a Phillies game?
Well, I always felt that I was a big part of the Phillies organization, even though I was in Chicago for 4 years. But, when they started the ballpark, the new ballpark, one of the themes was fan-friendly. And I, in my career with the Phillies, I got along with the fans really well. So they came to me and asked me if, I'd like to participate in barbecue because they knew that, I loved barbecue, and I'm living in Florida now. So when I was in New Jersey, I used to barbecue all winter. So, it got around a little bit, and so they knew I could be, fan friendly, you might say, and that I was well respected, through the Bull Ring, through what I did on the field. So, it really worked out. And so being there 16 years, obviously, it has been a lot of fun. I get to talk to the fans, I get to talk to youngsters, sign autographs and things of that nature. But for me, it's just the idea that I'm part of the Phillies. I'm in the ballpark, and the Phillies have always been a great organization and very good to me.
You talk about the connection to the fans, and obviously there was nothing more connected than your win in 1980 and the parade and everything. Can you talk about what it was like to bring a title to this city and what it's been like to be able to live that afterwards with these fans who seem to appreciate everything that winners do in this city?
Well, as a baseball player, there's one thing you play for. You play for championships and to be a world champ. And obviously, we had 3 tries at it early and didn't come through in the playoffs. One with Cincinnati, a couple with the Dodgers, and finally the 4th time against Houston with a tremendous series, games going extra innings and a lot of excitement. Probably one of the better series. Finally we made it to the World Series. It was quite a relief, to be honest with you. But to be able to say that you were on the first team, or first Phillies team that won a World Series is obviously really a proud moment. But, I think obviously it meant a lot to the fans, because when you go on a parade and there's people on both sides of the streets, just excited for you, waving, taking pictures, and then to leave Broad Street and go into JFK Stadium, which there's probably some that don't remember JFK Stadium because it's no longer there, and that thing be totally full of Philly fans and just baseball fans. That's a great feeling, and it's something that you'll always cherish and remember the rest of your life.
We are less than 3 hours away from first pitch with the Phillies. What are you looking forward to this year with this Phillies team?
Well, I think the question for the Phillies team is going to be pitching. How far the pitching is going to carry us. I think when you look at their lineup, they got a pretty strong lineup, and hopefully in the 60-game run, everybody stays healthy. But if you look at last year's club, and you look at the first 60 games, they got off to a great start, and then obviously from there couldn't hold it. But they were in first place for a long time there in the National League East. So. They're going to have a tough schedule. They're going to play some teams that, they only play so often, in Boston, New York, and, it's going to be a tough run for them. But I think that they can handle it. I think, if anything, their starters have obviously improved, and Phillies improved them. And if there's any question for the pitching, it'll be what can the bullpen do, and how can they help them?
My big concern is, in addition to the Phillies as a ball team, is where can I get Bull's Barbecue if they're not going to open the gates? Can we get takeout? Can we drive up to Citizens Bank Park and get it?
No offense, I think that's the reason Jeff asked you to come on the show, was so we can figure out how to get.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could be out in the parking lot somewhere with a truck, and be able to sell it out there. But obviously, because of the COVID-19, I'm not going to be able to do that. Hey, look, I miss it as much as anybody. Trust me. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit at home and watch it on TV like everybody else. There's only a few people, obviously, that'll be at the ballpark. That most of those people are with the ball club. I know Crucky texted me this morning and said he was in town and ready to go. We live by each other in Florida, so we communicate a little bit. But he said he's ready to go, and looks like this is going to be an exciting season. So between I think the Phillies on the field and John Kruk as a color man for the Phillies, there'll be a lot of excitement.
Well, we truly appreciate the time you gave us. We can't wait for people to be back in the ballpark getting their Bulls barbecue, and stay safe and healthy, and let's see some good Phillies baseball.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Let's go Phillies. We need some wins here early and to show people that we do belong. So good luck to the Phillies, and good luck to you guys, and stay healthy.